I was going to ask about
Thanks for
the
swing,
bicycles
Kieran.
and how you got into that. Like, what sparked the interest in that?
Yeah, bro, it was weird. So obviously, just got to college, grade 8. Knew no one, like a handful of people from Cornwallis. So making friends in the dumb classes, which is where I was, and making the most of it. And I met this guy, and he was like, we got along, became friends, and he was like, yeah, we should go ride at Cascades. I'm like, why at Cascades? And he's like, no, there's like a downhill park there. It's where they do all the races. And I knew that there were races there because you had watched them before. Living 500 meters away helps with that.
Fair.
I went and we got a lift up halfway up the downhill track.
Was those first bikes that we got?
Bro, I was riding on Dad's bike, and the black
enough.
one.
Okay.
We nicknamed it Black Death, bro, because it was literally falling apart every time I rode it. So anyway, we get dropped up halfway up, and we're going as fast as we can. Like, I would have thought we were sending it, but in actual fact, we were probably crawling. And I remember falling on every obstacle, every jump, but getting to the bottom, I was like, that was the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. I have to do it again. And that's when the bug bit. And it's been 7 years and I still feel that way. So good stuff.
And you've like actually, you didn't just do downhill though. Like, you did other forms of cycling at the same time.
Not by choice.
Yeah,
Not by choice, but I mean, I know it wasn't by choice, but you did.
Yeah, so obviously when I started, it was all the gravity stuff. Like, that was fun. Then in 2016, I kind of made a small mistake.
Just a little
broke my leg. It was so small, but
can we run the clip?
I mean, if only the scar was only that small. We can try and find the clip and run the clip.
Yeah, because
we can try.
I'll send you the clip. Yeah.
Yeah,
please,
okay,
that is honestly
one
of the funniest things I've ever experienced in my life was watching that clip. So we'll run the clip. And let's just talk about that for a bit. Talk us through it. What happened?
Yeah, bro. So getting more confidence. I was on a slightly better bike. I've been riding for 2 years, and all my friends are on big downhill bikes, and they're all hitting these big jumps. And I knew that like the talent was there. I knew I could do it, but in reality, I look back now, I did not have the tools for the job, and that's exactly what led to hurting myself. So I sent this road gap at the top of Cascades, and it's got like this rough, rutted landing. And the bike I was on just could not handle it. So when I got to the bottom of the little hill and the landing, there's a corner, and I just could not get around the corner, and I ended up wrapping my leg around a tree. And
lovely.
Yeah, as I hit the ground, as you've seen in the video, as I hit the ground, I just knew straight away that I had snapped this leg right in half.
And he had.
I think maybe
very much so.
I think now might be the best.
Yeah, now we run the clip.
I'm not hitting it, hey? Okay, fine, I will. Broken leg. Mitchell! Broken my leg. I've broken my fucking leg!
It's hilarious.
Oh my word, it's
brilliant. You talk about how you started this because of someone you met at school. What did you like? What was your school life like? Did you enjoy it? Was it one of those, I just want to get this over with, I'm here?
Okay, wait, before we get into the school stuff, I want to talk about the cycling a little bit more. Let's stick to cycling, because you ended up riding for KZN. You went on tour with the KZN team. Tell us a little bit more about like what your shift from downhill into cross country stuff. And obviously the leg break was part of it, but like a little bit more behind the scenes.
The leg break was like the thing behind it. I just thought to myself, okay,
that was grade 10, hey?
Yeah, it was the end of grade 10.
Yeah.
We were in matric. We just finished school.
Yeah.
Were we at raids when you did that?
I don't know, dude. You know when it was? I broke my leg. I think it was the 2nd of December. Mom was at prize giving at Cornwallis.
We were at raid. Oh no, that was the day we got back from rage because I went to that.
Yeah, we would have got back.
Yeah, I remember. I was sleeping. I was literally having a nap after that prize giving, and I woke up and you were just in hospital.
Yeah,
there was no one at home.
Brilliant.
I remember now.
I'll never forget, like, because I told everyone, no, I've broken my leg, and they were like, "Oh, come on, stop being a girl. You'll be riding in a week. It's just a bruise." And I'm like, "No, bro, I'm telling you, this thing's broken." And no one believed me. And then when the nurse eventually told me that, no, like she looked so bleak. I'll never forget it. That you've broken a leg. I was just like, "Yeah, I told you so." Like, come on, I knew
why
this.
did we have to waste time with the X-rays?
Yeah.
And then they put a plate in. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could show you the plate, but I did lose it. They put a titanium plate about that long with some screws as well and put it all back together. And then had another operation in 2019 to take it all out and fix the leftover parts.
Because your leg was like clicking and stuff when you walked. It was weird, I remember. Like you put your hand on your knee and it would like grind. It was so gross. So gross. Graham's not happy. Graham hates this stuff.
No, I'm not a fan, hey. I mean, I've tried whenever I've broken a bone, I've tried my hardest to convince myself it wasn't broken. Like,
I know, we know, Graham.
That was
you broke it at the beginning of a draw and only got tested on the Monday.
Yeah, that was my. I was like, no, it's not broken. It's fine. No stress. Because I just didn't like. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, wait. So back to cycling. So you broke your leg. How long was it then until you got back on a bike and carried on?
It took me 9 weeks before I was able to ride a bike for the first time.
Except for the messing around in the driveway you did a long time before that.
Yeah, but that was just riding in circles with the brace and everything still on. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. But even when I was riding after 9 weeks, I had to be very careful because it was still like fresh and I couldn't really do anything extreme. So that's when the transition to cross country kind of happened because all I could really do was ride up the hill and then go down the chilled single track. And then I, was like, okay, cool. How do I do it faster? So I started doing research on like training and all that kind of stuff. And before I knew it, I was like at the start line with my knee all strapped up, racing my first race in 2018. And yeah, that was that.
So that's like the whole of grade 11, you didn't race at all?
No, grade 11, I did race. So I started probably April was the first one. And then I raced
Okay, so that's 2017.
That's 2017, yeah.
Okay, wait, but that doesn't add up. April. Oh wait, 9 weeks, not 9 months. Sorry. That adds up.
The maths checks out.
So was that first race? Was it one of those Spur schools races, or was it just?
No, it was a provincial cross country race.
Okay.
Yeah, which I got destroyed at. Like it was so bad.
But it was the start.
You also just broken your leg like 9 weeks before that, so.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
It's kind of understandable.
So you started that then, and then at what point, because I remember before you went to England, you were like, your sleep schedule, eating schedule, training, like that was, you just like eat, sleep, ride, repeat. Like it was, you were literally on such a schedule, and obviously things have changed a bit now, but like how did it go from that first race to that well-oiled machine that you were before you went to England?
I mean, I just wanted to win. I mean, once you get the feeling on the start line and coming across, once you start getting better, all I wanted to do was be like at the front of the races, and that's all I wanted to do. So it became my priority, even over school, because who wouldn't want something exciting and fun over school? Let's be honest.
Fair enough. Stay in school, kids.
Yes, yeah, please stay in school. Not all of us have British passports, so we can just hop over when we need to.
Yeah, so it kind of just progressed. Probably wasn't even, aware of how serious it became after a while. But towards the beginning of the trick, it was, all I was focusing on.
Yeah.
Did it help that the school started recognizing it as a sport? Like, did that make it a bit more inconvenient?
It wasn't inconvenient. It helped because obviously at college you have to do a sport at all times, and when they made it an official sport, we were then able to do it every afternoon and get away with it through the school. And in the report card, we were doing a sport for the school, so it worked for me. Like, it was fun.
Yeah, because obviously you were very late into the sport. Like most cyclists, like before they can walk, they're riding a bike and they're racing by the time they're 6 or 7. You raced first time at 16, 17. So how did that like affect? I mean, I remember you just being like coming back from races, being like, "Yeah, these guys have been riding their whole life, and I kicked their ass with a broken leg." Like, how did it? Like,
I actually remember that as well.
It was brilliant. Like, how did it get to that point? And like, how were you received by the cycling people? Like, I don't really know too much about this. I was not really involved. I was out of school doing my own thing.
Yeah.
When you were doing this.
Well, it was weird because obviously, because everyone in the cycling community, their parents had been doing it, and then they were doing it from kids, and that's how they got into it. Everyone already knew each other, and they were all friends with each other. So coming in at such a late stage, there was a few of us.
The awkward stage of like 16, 17. Like, it's pretty awkward.
Yeah, exactly. It was the awkward stage of going to a race and like knowing who people were, but not really being friendly with them at all because you don't know them. They don't go to your school. Like, they don't even live anywhere near you. So like the first maybe year and a half was a bit like that. But in Matric, like, it obviously all changed. The school series helps as well because there's 4 races a year, and then the finals, the national final, that you represent the province. Like, you're all together, you go up in a bus, you become friends with the people over the time that you're racing. Like, it's a whole day event as well. The school
you
series
only made KZN team in Matric, hey? Or did you make a grade 11 and Matric?
I made it in grade 11 and Matric.
Okay, so by the end of grade 11, you kind of started making friends in the community.
Yeah.
And then Matric was just chilled, like seeing your friends every few weeks at a race kind of thing.
Yeah, bro, and to be honest, like towards the end of Matric, like, not that I had really given up or anything, but I remember the last national final, it was on my 18th birthday. And I just remember, like, can't really be asked with doing a race on my birthday right now. There's other things I would kind of also want to be doing right now. And
pause that.
Drink responsibly, kids.
Or don't.
No, do. Don't listen to him because otherwise you'll put on 10 kgs during lockdown.
Yeah,
okay, well, that was a very hurtful thing to say.
Well,
okay. Have we covered everything cycling-wise, Kieran? Is there anything more? Any other interesting stories you want to throw in there?
No, the only thing I'll say is like real life kicks in eventually. So
yeah.